The modern world is a trap. The system has been set up in such a way that you will never be free. So is it any wonder that people these days are depressed, that they have anxiety? I read somewhere that if you are depressed, it's actually your body telling you that there's something wrong in your surroundings, in your environment. It's that primal instinct in us telling us that we should move, we should go somewhere else. But in our modern society, that's not so easy. You're kept in that invisible cage while they're telling you that this is the right way to live. Just keep working hard, pay your taxes, pay your ever-increasing rent. I've written out some of the comments on my recent videos, and what people are saying is that they are feeling like they are being farmed, that taxes are crushing the life out of you. Half of what you earn, you pay to the state in taxes. They feel like a drone or a cog in a machinery. This is quite disturbing, and there are hundreds of comments like these. And I will say that a farmed man is not a free man. And it's time that people wake up to the realities here. Modern life is not about freedom. Modern life is not about, it's not about happiness and living a full life. Modern life is all about us being expected to keep the system running. The concept of climbing the corporate ladder, or climbing the societal ladder, if you will, it's all a lie, because you're not climbing up, you're climbing down into a pit, into a trap. I think the Viking way is about understanding that freedom doesn't come for free. It's not for free. You have to make sacrifices. And it all starts with realizing that you are already making the ultimate sacrifice, almost. You're giving your life away. Working 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, and then some. A little bit about my background. I'm a novelist. I've been a novelist my entire working life. I did have a job when I was a student, but after that I never had a job. Well, being a novelist is a job, of course, but I've never been employed anywhere. So all my adult working life I've been standing somewhat outside of the system, looking in. And it's so obvious to me that this life where you have debt, you have to work to pay debt and taxes, it's insane, and it's very unhealthy. And it is obvious to me that if you go to work Monday to Friday and you would rather be somewhere else, it's going to make you depressed sooner or later, probably sooner. And then we blame other things for that depression and for that unhappiness. But listen, if you would rather be outdoors, doing something, hiking, fishing, whatever, but you're stuck in that cubicle, that's your life. And you go home and you're tired and all of that. On Sunday afternoon you start thinking about work. It's not a good life. It really isn't. It's a sacrifice that you make for your family, possibly. But it doesn't need to be like that. I've been living below what is defined as poverty here in Norway most of my life. It was only after my my jomsviking novels took off on an international level, that things improved financially. But what I did at an early age was I made a choice, and for me it was more about wanting that freedom. I really needed that freedom. I was out in the woods a lot when I was a kid, and I don't like cities. I don't want to be inside in a building doing something that I don't find meaningful. So I made that choice at a very early age. And I can tell you that it doesn't feel like a sacrifice. The life that I lived, I would have done the same again. Even though there's been times when I remember one time during winter I needed firewood, so I was driving around, trying to find firewood in building sites, abandoned building sites. And I kicked the firewood that I could find there, like scrap wood, if you can call it that they sometimes leave. I kicked it out of the frozen ground. And I would have done the same again. And in retrospect, I believe that what I chose was a life of skogganger, which I talked about in a previous video, which basically was the life of the outcast, the outlaw, someone banished from society, from Viking society. But also I felt I had no choice. I knew that I needed to live like that. The Viking way is about moving your life bit by bit outside of that system, outside of the grid, outside of, away from their spying eyes. The Viking way is about reclaiming your independence. And that doesn't mean that you have to be alone. The Viking society was all about community. So, as I said before, find your tribe. This channel here can be a tribe, or you can use it. You can use the comment section to reach out to other people in your area. There is also actually the sponsor of this video, folkrealms.com, which is an online platform with no AI and no hate, no bullying, nobody trying to, use our pagan European roots for political purposes. It's mainly a pagan platform, or platform for people interested in European paganism. Folkrealms.com, the best sponsor I could wish for. Maybe you've seen these videos where they have rescued some wild animal like a fox, and they nurse it back to health, and then they take the cage out in a field or the forest, and they open the cage, and sometimes the wild animal, it will not go out because it's too afraid, because it's been in that cage for a while now, and it knows the cage is safety. And we as human beings, we are very much like that. So freedom scares us. Actually, in this modern society, freedom scares most people. Now, I upload videos every Saturday, but I will also be trying to upload mid-week here on this channel. So if you want to catch the next video, please subscribe to this channel. That would be awesome. Then you're part of the tribe here, And cheers to that, skål, as we say. I think that in order to follow the Viking way out of that trap that we call modern society or the system, we have to redefine what matters. And maybe what we have been told is a lie. Maybe it doesn't really matter so much. if we climb that corporate ladder. Maybe that's all a lie, you know. Maybe things like living a life closer to nature, out in nature, is more important. Maybe having the ability to grow your own food is a lot more important than having a nice new car or the latest iPhone or whatever. Maybe meeting friends, sitting around a campfire, is a lot more important and much more valuable than going out, buying drinks and things like that, spending a lot of money in a bar. Honor, integrity, building a legacy. And if you can, find a good woman, or if you are a woman, find a good man, and let the bloodline continue. Those are central Viking values, and I believe those values are important for a happy life. The Viking way is a way out of that trap that modern society has become. I do see some comments where people are very, what's the word, nihilistic. It's that nihilistic attitude that, you know, why bother? Why would I even try? You know? And it's sometimes very difficult to reach those people. But if you who are listening, if you are one of those people, I will tell you that you're better than that. There is a full life waiting for you. But you have to take that first step. You have to remove yourself from that dystopia that we call modern society. And I can tell you also that if you just stay put, it's going to get worse. Prices are going to continue to go up. Your salary will not, most likely. Ownership will be a thing of the past. At least if you just stay in the cities, if you stay in the system. And I don't think that we should accept that. So move out of the system and find a tribe. That can be a couple of friends. I mean, it can be a girlfriend. It can be one person. The two of you can be a tribe. When you think about the Vikings, I'm sure that you're not thinking about the word safety. The Vikings, they were seeking honor. They lived, or tried to live, with integrity. They were seeking adventure. They sailed across oceans in search for a better life. And so should we. And maybe not a literal ocean, but, you know, you should cross that ocean in a metaphorical sense. The ocean you have to cross in order to find a better life. You deserve that. And I also think that we should never accept to let the system, the powers that be, make us small. We are not just cogs in the machinery. Don't let them rob you of your dreams and hopes. That cage is very real, but the door is open. We are like that wild animal that has been kept in captivity, and now it's afraid to walk out of that cage. But if you do, there's a much better life waiting for you.